very good evening and welcome to the special broadcast of the Ministerial announcement of the 2013 National Senior Certificate Examinations results and of the awarding of certificates as well as prizes to the top learners of the class of 2013. I'm your host, Alisha Jali. Now, approximately 700,000 candidates were enrolled for the 2013 National Senior Certificate Examinations. Of that number, over 576,000 were full-time candidates, while over 136,000 were part-time candidates. In recent years, the standard and quality of the qualification has come under close scrutiny from various quarters. On announcing the 2012 matric results, the Minister of Basic Education, Angie Motshekga, said she would set up a ministerial committee to look into the matter and to give international comparisons. Now, the ministerial committee is expected to report back to the minister sometime in April of their findings. Now, the best performing province last year was Gauteng with an 83.9% pass rate, and the worst performing province was the Eastern Cape with a 61.1% pass rate. Let's now cross live to the official program to find out more on how the class of 2013 performed.
To the Deputy Minister of Basic Education, Mama Angie Motshekga, the Deputy Minister, Enver Surty, Acting Director General, Pedi Padayachi, Deputy Minister of Higher Education and Training, Mr. Mduduzi Manana, important guests, parents, learners, everyone watching us at home, welcome to the 2013 matric results announcement. My name is Sibusiso Lope.
And my name is Bokang Munjani. It is such an honor for us to be a part of this amazing event. And I must say, a key milestone for our young learners. I still remember when I was still in matric, I didn't get a top award, but I must say we are extremely proud of each and every single one of you. And by the way, Zbu, well done with the work that you continue to do empowering the young people of our country through your Sibusiso Lope Foundation. I must say you're doing phenomenal work, and congratulations once again for the Leadership 2020 book.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it, Bokang. It's quite an honor hearing you say that, considering the work, the wonderful work that you have been doing with the Bokang Munjane Foundation with little girls at schools. And I know you've been doing different campaigns. I mean, you've got it's the Dare to Dream?
Dare to Dream campaign.
And what's the other one?
Teenage Pregnancy.
Oh, the Teenage Pregnancy campaign.
Yeah.
Okay. Ladies and gents, please give her a big round of applause. All right, tonight we're honoring the class of 2013, but let us take a moment to reflect on the achievements of the class of 2012.
We all know that education, more than anything else, improves our chances of leading better lives.
Let's continue to make education a societal issue.
Let's do it for Madiba.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 2013 matric results announcement live from the SABC, Auckland Park, Johannesburg.
With 18 radio stations, 4 TV stations, a 24-hour news channel with over 27 million listeners and millions of viewers every day, the SABC is the key custodian of our country's democracy. Ladies and gents, please welcome our host, people that are hosting us here at the SABC, Chairperson of the SABC Board, Ms. Zandile Shabalala.
You're so tense, it feels like you have not passed matric. Minister of Basic Education, Ms. Angie Motshekga, Deputy Minister, Mr. Enver Surty, Deputy Minister of Higher Education, Mr. Mduduzi Manana, the young lion. I would like Mr. Mduduzi to stand up because he's a source of inspiration for young people. Mr. Manana, yes. Acting, I'm not suggesting that others are too old, but I'm just appreciating a young Deputy Minister. Acting Director General, Mr. Pedi Padayachi, you're welcome. School principals, learners and parents, honorable guests, our future leaders and class of 2013, ladies and gentlemen, and our viewers at home. Good evening and welcome to the 2013 National Senior Certificate Announcement event. It gives me a great pleasure to stand here before you tonight as the nation prepares to hear Minister Motshekga announce the pass rate for the last year's final exams for the class of 2013. It is also a bittersweet moment because it is the first time that we are having this occasion since the passing of former President Dr. Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, whom, as we all know, was a great champion for education. We are indeed privileged to have been led by a man who valued education in the way that our former president did. In line with our mandate, the SABC has over the years established and nurtured a partnership with the Department of Basic Education, and this year is no different. We continue to broadcast for total citizen empowerment through conversations and partnership. Our vision, Minister, also captures very strongly the issue of education. May I pause and apologize? I forgot to welcome my MEC. I might be redeployed from Gauteng. We have in our midst our MEC from Gauteng in education, Ms. Barbara Creasy. Can you just, by show of hand, MEC? You're most welcome. And we have our MEC from Ntate Magwe from Free State. By show of hand, Ntate Magwe. We at the SABC pride ourselves for our concerted effort to bring education to all learners through the mediums we have available. It therefore should come as no surprise that we are here tonight to hear how our 2013 grade 12 learners fared in their exams. It is through this partnership that we, together with the Department of Basic Education, have ensured that our programming speaks to some of the objectives of our government that it has set for itself in education. It is a partnership we will endeavor to strengthen and grow to greater heights. We know right now there are various challenges on the timing of the broadcast of these education programs, but we promise the Education Department, both basic education and higher education, that we will deal with those kinds of issues. We recognize and appreciate the value of education. It is our government's #1 priority, which is why we have a special division that works tirelessly to infuse education in our content. May I request the lady that deals with education, just by show of hand, to rise up. Sponsor. Minister, if nothing goes well, she's the right person to reprimand. We recognize and appreciate the value of education. It is our government's #1 priority, which is why we have a special division that works tirelessly to infuse education in our special content. Ladies and gentlemen, in the year that we celebrate 20 years of our democracy, it is only befitting that I end off with a quotation from our founding father. Education is the, I quote, education is the great engine of personal development. It is through education that the daughter of a peasant can become a doctor, that the son of a mine worker can become a head of the mine, that a child of a farm worker can become the president of a great nation. It is what we make out of what we have, not what we are given, that separates one person from another. I end my quote. To the learners, this is the only beginning, and SABC wishes you luck. Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. Beautiful. We encourage a lot of learners throughout the country to study mathematics and physical science. It's very good for you guys to be educated. Seeing a lot of you guys here, I'm really proud, with the work that you guys have been able to do and what you guys have been able to achieve. You're a beacon of hope. You're a light to millions and millions of youngsters in South Africa. And ladies and gents, please give them a big round of applause. We are so proud of you. You don't want to be like a man. They say he was a Zulu man, but I don't know. You don't want to be like a man who got into a bank trying to rob the bank and ran to the cashier and pointed him with the gun and said, "Give me the money, otherwise you're geography." Upon being corrected when they said, no, sir, maybe you're trying to say I'm history, he was like, please don't change the subject. Welcome back, ladies and gents. You are watching a special live broadcast of the 2013 matric results announcement on SABC 1. They say behind every successful minister, there is a hard-working, dedicated, and passionate deputy minister. Please welcome Deputy Minister of Basic Education, Mr. Enver Surty.
Molweni, Dumelang, Goeienaand, good evening. Honourable Minister of Basic Education, the Honourable MECs who are present out here, MEC from Gauteng as well as the Free State, my colleague, the Deputy Minister of Higher Education and Training, chairpersons of both the Portfolio Committee and Select Committee of Parliament, and members of both the Portfolio Committee and the Select Committees of Parliament, the chairperson of the South African Broadcasting Corporation Board, Ms. Zandile Shabalala, members of the Executive Council who are present out here, Directors General, our acting DG, Mr. Paddy Padiachi, and senior members of the Department of Basic Education, as well as provincial heads of department who are present out here. I see the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Witwatersrand here. It's good to have you here, Dr. Habib. And parents who are present out here, fellow South Africans, and all representatives and people who are associated with education. It's a singular pleasure and honor to be here. Obviously, I cannot conclude without acknowledging the presence of the leadership of the teacher unions who are present out here. And thank you so much for being present and sharing with us this very historic moment. We are on the threshold of 20 years of our democracy and freedom. We are here to report to you about the progress that we've made since 1994. You may recollect that in 1994 we had 14 departments of education. The system of education was quite fragmented. There was privileges granted to a small minority of people in the country, and the rest of the population was generally neglected. There were huge disparities in terms of infrastructure, in terms of resources, in terms of libraries, in terms of laboratories. And these had to be addressed with many, many other things in our democratic dispensation. And we have to reflect on the journey that we had taken. It has been an arduous and difficult journey. We had to deal with what we thought would be the best curriculum for our learners, and we realized as we dealt with that particular issue that we could have done certain things differently. The vision of Nelson Mandela was a vision which basically put education at the epicenter of all activities, of human activities. And I'm glad we had that little insert out there. What President Jacob Zuma did when he was elected as president was to make education an apex priority. He also agreed with the African National Congress that there are certain non-negotiables in education. And these non-negotiables were about teaching, about text, that is your resources, and about time spent at school. And as I speak to you, I will reflect on these matters and say why these non-negotiables were so critical. And at the same time, as I do that, to acknowledge the enormous contribution made by the educators and representatives of unions who are here, we say to you, whatever the outcome of what we're doing out here, we always acknowledge and recognize the enormous contribution made by thousands, more than 400,000 educators who teach under very difficult circumstances in our country. Now, when the Minister of Education was appointed, she said that she wants an action plan. It's not about policy only. She wants an integrated system of education that is indivisible, so that provinces are not different from the national department and that we work as a collective. And I think what we can say about our Minister, Angie Motshekga, is that she's forged this collaboration and cooperation with MECs of education, but she's gone beyond that. She said it's not only the heads of department, it's not only the MECs of education that contribute directly to the outcomes in education. It is also the directors of the various districts who play a significant role. And therefore, the districts became a key focus. And every quarter of each year, the Department of Basic Education, Minister, Deputy Minister, Director General, heads of departments sit with the directors, heads of departments of various districts to forge a way ahead. This has contributed to a new spirit, a spirit in terms of which education is regarded as a system that can and indeed should work. What the minister also said is to say that what are the indicators in terms of which we could measure ourselves. We recognize that we have serious challenges in relation to literacy and numeracy. We never pretended that we were performing optimally. We never exaggerated the realities that confronted us. And we knew that we had serious and significant challenges with regard to the gateway subjects of mathematics and science. And indeed, we had to pay particular attention to quality education, because it's not only the quantitative advancement that contributes meaningfully to the economy and to the well-being of the country, but qualitatively what can be done different. We can celebrate the fact that in the 12 years between 2000 and 2012, we have more than doubled the number of graduates who pass matric with exemption, in other words, who are entitled, or with a bachelor's pass, which entitled them to go to university. Now, that is no mean effort. It means that a lot of people had put a lot of effort to increase and improve and enhance the education system. What the President Jacob Zuma also said, he says that if you look at education, we basically have to have an independent entity, the National Commission to look at education, amongst other priorities, amongst the 12 other priorities. And education, obviously being the apex priority, was reflected on by the Commission and the National Development Plan, quite, and we can't take heart, certainly is aligned to, either our plan is aligned to theirs or theirs is aligned to ours, but we are on track. They said we want to make sure that early childhood development is at the center of what you do. And today we can celebrate the fact that more than 90% of our learners are in preschool, and we hope by the end of, or by the beginning of 2015, enrollment in grade R is universal. We celebrate the fact, and we can indeed celebrate the fact, that notwithstanding the enormous challenges that we face in terms of health infrastructure otherwise, we are able to feed every single day more than 9 million children in our schools. And that contributes meaningfully to their progress and to their well-being in our schools. You know, in 1996, we had 15,000 schools without electricity. Today, we have just over 1,000. Because we recognize the fact that you cannot have a learning environment that is not conducive to learning. You must have water, sanitation, electricity, laboratories, and libraries. And as we look in the past year, for example, we would see that every week we are able to deliver in the Eastern Cape a state-of-the-art school incorporating a library, ICT, the most beautiful infrastructure in the most remote and difficult-to-reach areas. And this trend will continue week by week in this current year. That is an assurance that we can give to you. So we indeed are making inroads in terms of infrastructure. We are making inroads in terms of the performance of our learners. Look at the realities in the past when we introduced, and we took the bold and again the audacious and bold step by the minister to say, let the nation recognize the challenge that we face in terms of literacy and numeracy. We've done what no other country in the world has done. We've tested more than 5.2 million learners in terms of literacy and numeracy. And we are able to say in each class, in each grade, in each school, in each district, in each province, we are able to assess the ability of learners in terms of literacy and numeracy. And we are able to identify the deficits in terms of the process. The outcome of that is that we had a baseline and indicator which would tell us how we should move forward. So if we look, and the minister will elaborate on it, look at what happened the year thereafter and the year thereafter, there are seeds of hope and promise. And it is quite disappointing and disheartening when people in positions of authority, people who are in the academia, tend to demotivate and denigrate a system which they had gone through. Because we are here to inspire hope. These beautiful learners with whom we engaged this morning are really the epitome of resilience, hope and ambition, and our dreams. They are our leadership. Should we say to them that your past is of no meaning or consequence? I don't think so. And when it comes from people who are occupying informed positions, it is quite disheartening. Now, what is the position with regard to the realities of resources? And we cannot but acknowledge and admit that we had a serious challenge in this regard. But just in terms of the workbooks itself, let's look at grade R. Grade R, we have almost 90% enrollment. What does a child in grade R receive, whether he or she attends a quintile 1 school or a quintile 5 school? That is most affluent or less. That child receives 4 activity books in his or her language every year, free of charge, delivered to the school. What does a child in grade 1 receive? A child in grade 1 receives 4 books in the first half of the year and another 4 in the second half of the year. literacy, numeracy, life skills, and English as a first additional language. We provided this nation with more than 150 million workbooks to enhance literacy and numeracy. And indeed, if we reflect on and consider empirically the evidence of the performance of our learners over the past 3 years, we would see that we are making progress. We have not received the excellence that we seek and certainly aspire towards, but certainly we are moving away from mediocrity and creating opportunities for those who were less privileged, who were denied access of these particular opportunities. We now can celebrate the fact that we have a curriculum which everybody understands in terms of its content, in terms of its direction, and in terms of its assessment. I do not want to go into much more, but perhaps to say that we are indeed in the 21st century. And we take heart in the fact that many of our MECs have basically recognized that we have to integrate technology into the curriculum. And indeed, strides are being made in this regard. Tablets are being introduced. Connectivity is available. The Eastern Cape, which just 2 years ago had less than 20% connectivity for administrative purposes, has now more than 90% connectivity. So things are changing, and they are changing rapidly. The environment is changing. We can only hope and pray that the consistency that we've achieved in this administration in the past few years continues. Let me conclude by saying that this could not have occurred without the collaboration, Minister, of our MECs of Education, who have showed brilliant, extraordinary, distinctive leadership, and we thank them for that, for the support to the portfolio committees and select committees and all other stakeholders in education, and most importantly for those thousands of people who have a belief that indeed education is at the center of the well-being of our nation. Now, I know there's going to be a category of people who are going to be very, very disheartened if I don't reflect on them. Those are our adult learners who are functionally illiterate and innumerate. In the past 5 years, we have made 2.9 million adults functionally literate and numerate, not only in the mother tongue, but also in English as a first additional language. And I think that is a wonderful thing. Those are the goggles that are going to be really motivating and our children who are going to be, in whose care the children are. And I think this is an extraordinary celebration. There are so many other things in terms of safety and security, etc., that I could speak about. What I'm saying to our nation is that the challenges are huge, they are enormous. But we are making firm strides towards a better future, and we want you to hold our hands and walk with us and guide us as we go through this destiny. And to all those who have made it possible, we say thank you. You and the more than 569,000 learners who have sat for the examination have instilled in us hope and belief that this year will be better than last year, and next year would probably be better than this year. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
The Department of Basic Education is proud of the matric class of 2012. In 2012, our pass rate was 73.9%, an important milestone that reflected on the steady increase in our pass rate since 2009. In 2009, the pass rate was 60.6%. In 2010, it was 67.8%, and in 2011, it was 70.2%. The growth in 2012 was very encouraging, bearing in mind that when we came into office, we had put the targeted growth at 75% by 2014. Now, at 73.9%, our target is within reach. In 2012, the percentage of grade 12 learners who qualified for bachelor studies was 26.6%. We certainly hope that it increases in 2013. Good luck to the class of 2013. Kari Gude is a mass literacy project which was started to bring education to the doorstep of all people, young and old, in all provinces. It is a successful initiative because 3.5 million adults have gone through the mass literacy program since its inception 5 years ago. Kari Gude contributes to job creation by recruiting and training volunteers. Kari Gude has 44 monitors, 203 coordinators, 3,703 supervisors, and 44,000 volunteer educators, including 250 helpers for blind volunteers. Some of our graduates have started their own projects and employed others. Many of them are now able to read and write and perform basic functions without assistance, as was the case before.
More than 150,000 of our go-go's have gone for these programs to ensure that they really affirm their dignity, that they empower themselves through the ability to read and to write.
Grass is green because grass is meant to be green. My mom is the smartest person because she wears a very lovely pink sparkly dress.
Smart moms save big with kiddies backpacks for only $29.99 or small backpacks for just $44.99. Only at PEP. Win your share in prizes with MTN and PEP. PEP. Best prices and more.
Many have come, but only a few remain endeared in the hearts and minds of the people, not because of their skills, but in the way they saw the world and how the world sees them in return. Challenges met with hopes and dreams of a better tomorrow. Because in the end, a true test of character comes from within. Witness another Africa's great. Orange Chan 2014, from January 11th to February the 1st. Africa's home champions. Celebrate Africa.
Nandi's husband had the wisdom to take out a whole lot funeral plan. When he passed away, they paid out 50,000 rand. And that gave her the freedom to mourn, because she knew things were being taken care of.
Live with peace of mind knowing that your family is covered by up to 50,000 rand with the Hollard Funeral Plan. SMS Funeral or send a please call me to 083-226-9648. Hollard, we get you.
South African Schools Choral I Stedford, SASKE, is an annual competition that takes place in July. This exciting competition attracts thousands of hopeful young learners across the country to compete against the cream of the crop. Learners compete for the top honors by engaging in moving solo and group performances over a period of 4 days. At the event, participants come from far and wide to compete against the future of South Africa's cultural talent. Minister Motshekga hails the SASKE project as it resonates with the government's vision to improve the quality of life for all citizens, and that it is a strategic program in our quest to promote unity in diversity, reconciliation, and social cohesion.
Inclusive education is one of the priorities of the Department of Basic Education. Inclusive education is about ensuring that barriers to learning are addressed in such a way that all learners can reach their full potential. The Department of Basic Education declared 2013 as the Year of Inclusive Education. This is so all stakeholders in education take the responsibility for ensuring that learners with special needs have access to quality education and support. These are children from rural communities, from poor families, learners who come from different cultures, who learn differently, those with emotional or physical challenges. 2013 saw the completion of the curriculum for South African Sign Language. Workbooks have been adapted for Braille so learners with visual impairment can participate in lessons together with their peers. We have allocated more resources to special schools so they can provide better quality education and support. In 2014, teachers will be trained to ensure that they have the knowledge and skills to meet the needs of diverse learners in their day-to-day teaching. Inclusive education is one of the priorities of the Department of Basic Education. Inclusive education is about ensuring that barriers to learning are addressed in such a way that all learners can reach their full potential. The Department of Basic Education declared 2013 as the year of inclusive education. This is so all stakeholders in education take the responsibility for ensuring that learners with special needs have access to quality education and support. These are children from rural communities, from poor families, learners who come from different cultures, who learn differently, those with emotional or physical challenges. 2013 saw the completion of the curriculum for South African Sign Language. Workbooks have been adapted for Braille, so learners with visual impairment can participate in lessons together with their peers. We have allocated more resources to special schools so they can provide better quality education and support. In 2014, teachers will be trained to ensure that they have the knowledge and skills to meet the needs of diverse learners in their day-to-day teaching.
The 2013 matric papers were written by over 700,000 learners, and plus minus 9.1 million papers were actually printed. Now, this is an enormous, huge task for the Department of Basic Education. Now, let us take a look at how they manage everything.
The 2013 NSC examination has been the largest examination since the implementation of the new NSC curriculum. After the 258 question papers were set, moderated, reviewed, and quality assured, they were handed over to the 9 provincial examination heads, who then took responsibility for the printing, packing, and distribution of these question papers under very tight and stringent conditions to the 6,699 examination centers. From 2007 and 2011 as well as 2012, after the question papers are written, they've been subjected to an international benchmarking process by 3 internationally reputable assessment institutions. And this includes Cambridge International Examination, the Scottish Qualification Authority, as well as the New South Wales Examination Board. And the reports that we've received from all 3 international assessment bodies has been very positive and encouraging. But what is more important is that the comments emanating from this evaluation is utilized in the setting of question papers for the following years. The marking commenced early in December, and a total of 35,000 markers were brought together, and thereafter the marks had to be captured onto the national examination system through a double capture process to ensure that no errors are made during the capture process. So after the marks are captured, the data is then transferred to Umalusi so that they could do their own quality assurance, quality checks, standardize the marks. The marks were then handed back to the Department of Basic Education for the final processes in terms of resulting and the release that we are here today to witness. I want to, on behalf of the Minister and the Director General, wish all the learners all the best in terms of the results that they would release, but more importantly, we wish them all the best in terms of their future ambitions and career options.
You are watching the live broadcast of the 2013 matric result announcement. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've all been waiting for. Can we please put our hands together for the Honourable Minister of Basic Education, Angie Motshekga.
The program directors, both deputy ministers that are here, I saw the chairperson of the portfolio committee, the MECs that are here, chairperson of the SABC, members of executive councils here, director generals present, the representatives of education stakeholders. Professor Habib, thank you very much for also honoring us with your presence here. Our top learners and our parents, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow South Africans. Program Director, I really wish to also acknowledge the presence of the principal of Denron. When I met, it's one school that year after year, he's been giving us some of the best results, 100% year on year. And when I visited his school, it's a rural school somewhere in Limpopo, to go and really find out what his recipe was, and just put it in one sentence to say, Minister, I give my all, my soul, my heart, and everything else that I have. And when I met him this morning, he says, I'm not coming here as a principal, I'm bringing my own son, who performed very well at my own school. So I'm very happy for you, Principal, because indeed you gave your all for everybody else's child, and I'm proud that today you are bringing your own child, also as a top learner. I guess you told him what you told me. You give it your all, and you get results. So I really want to acknowledge the Principal of Denron. Maybe you should rise, Principal and your wife. Program Director, it's almost 4 years ago that this government took a very important decision to split the Department of Education, to establish basic education and higher education. And this decision remains one of the key legacies of this current administration, and it also affirmed government or education as a priority program of government. And with this commitment, our government under President Jacob Zuma's leadership did all it could to support our department. And I'm pleased to announce that I'm extremely encouraged by the fact that our system shows definite signs of a stabilizing education system. And I must not, we didn't say it's perfect, a stabilizing education system. And the time to reap the benefits of our hard work has arrived. And I think we've seen the results that when we took over the Deputy Minister in 2009, we stood at 60.9. And as President of the US, Barack Obama once said that through our work, we should make sure that the world that we leave our children is just a bit better than the one that we found. And today, this is what this government continues to commit itself to. Also, given the fact that learning outcomes, especially in lower grades, have historically been sadly low, as indicated in international, regional, and national tests, extraordinary measures had to be employed to turn the situation around. And the focus of the sector since 2009 has been on teacher, tax and time as crucial levers for providing quality education. The past 4 to 5 years have seen the introduction of the following strategic interventions, which the Deputy Minister also mentioned. We conducted our annual assessments, which grew from 500 learners to almost 7 million learners. We distributed more than 150 million workbooks from grade R to 9. We established NIDU to help us also diagnose where the problems were. We developed the Planning, Delivery and Oversight Unit to also identify areas of weakness. We strengthened the curriculum through the Curriculum and Assessment Policy Statement, which we peacefully and gradually phased out the OBE, and everybody knows the story of OBE. And we can assure the nation that come 2014, OBE is going to be something of the past, because we are phasing our last phases this year. But also this year, we also developed the curriculum for technical high schools. We also developed a curriculum for South African Sign Language to bring about clarity and inclusivity. And in addition to these strategic interventions, the sector also implemented what we call the National Strategy for Learner Attainment that targeted the improvement of learning outcomes. Also, the results that we received last year of TIMSS, which is your trends in maths and science, have corroborated our observation that the section of the education system are responding positively to the many interventions we have made. Because in respect of TIMSS, the results of 2011, they show that schools at the lower end of the performance spectrum, mainly schools in less advantaged communities, registered impressive improvements. The 2011 TIMSS pointed to improvements in mathematics and science competency. South Africa's improvement in mathematics was 67 TIM points between 2002 and 2011, a 7-point growth per year. and which is amongst the steepest seen by any team's participant. We are told that only Ghana has seen a steeper improvement over this period. Our improvement is comparable, we are told, to that experienced by Brazil in the last decade. Probably the fastest and most consistent improvement in any international testing system in recent years. And we are quite confident that we will exceed our 50% literacy targets by 2015. After drafting the South African Sign Language Curriculum for grade R to 12, which we completed in December 2012, the department started a consultation process with a reference group with the deaf community, and for 2014, we will be training teachers, developing material for full implementation and the phasing in from 2015. In terms of procurement, Program Director, I can report that we have procured a textbook and stationery, and I'm very cautious, DM, to say I can indicate, textbooks has been, that, so not confirm, I can indicate that 99% of the books have been delivered, and the provinces are mopping up the process to make sure that by the time schools reopen, indeed, we have delivered all the necessary materials to our schools. And as indicated, since 2011, the Department of Basic Education conducted annual national assessments to monitor the level and quality of learner performance in key foundational skills of literacy and numeracy. And the rhythm of these assessments has stabilized remarkably in the last 3 years, with participation increasing from around 500,000 learners to about 7 million learners in 2013. As an indicator of the health of the education system, ANA has yielded not only valuable information on the status quo, but it has also pointed to these areas, calling for urgent attention to improve performance. The class of 2013. The striking feature of this class and these learners here, its kids were born and brought up in democratic South Africa, which was fashioned by the values of the Freedom Charter, premised on a rights culture, making sure that education is a right and not a privilege, and was championed by our first president, President Nelson Mandela. The humanity and wisdom of Mandela can be summed up in the quotation that we always quote in the department, that education is the most powerful weapon which we can use to change the world. And we'd like to pay special tribute to a person who lived the words of Tata Madiba. DM, I also want to acknowledge the presence of grandmother Ritangiba. When I met her in the morning, she told me that she's never stopped crying since she left KZN, when she was told that her grandson, Qiniso Maxwell Ngiba, was nominated as one of the top learners. So they come from KZN. She raised up Maxwell from the age of 6 after he lost his mother, and he has achieved a bachelor pass, scoring full distinctions in all subjects. So where's Gogo? Gogo, ngiyathi masawuthulile Gogo, angithi usakhali manje. Usakhali Gogo, okay. Maxwell got 19 Zulu, 92 in English additional language, 92 in maths, 95 in life orientation, 96 in physical science, 97 in life sciences, and full marks in accounting. And some of us as teachers know that if you're a teacher, it's very hard to give 100%. You need your own marks, your 2 there, your 3 there, because you can't just give 100. So you possibly got 100, the other 2s went to the teachers. So you need your little sweetness teachers. Moving to the 2013 results, which is what we are here for. Okay. So we've mentioned that this year we presented 562,112 full-time learners, which is an increase of more than 50,960 students from 2012. We've also mentioned that Dr. Polo just explained that 258 question papers were set, 9.1 million papers were printed. We wrote at 667 exam centers, supervised by almost 65,000 invigilators. And in total, 8.7 million scripts were marked by 35,000 markers. I'm not sure if there's any system as massive as this. I don't think even elections are this massive, but okay. But what is also very encouraging, to make sure that indeed we are able to benchmark ourselves against the best in the world. So in order to achieve world status, DB has made significant strides in improving the quality of question papers by engaging in international benchmarking processes. We went for benchmarking processes in 2002, 2007, and last year. Last year, we presented 7 selected subjects to the Cambridge International Examinations, to the Scottish Qualifications Authority, and the Board of Studies of New South Wales for evaluation. And according to their judgment made by these international bodies, the standard of our question papers has improved significantly and is comparable to most international bodies. And I'm proud that as ministers, we have the standard of papers that are developed in South Africa subjected to international scrutiny, which is evidence that we take pride in our work and also in the quality of our work. On standardization, Umalusi, which plays a critical role in protecting the integrity of the National Senior Certificate examinations, has, after rigorous verification of all examination processes, declared the 2013 NSC exams as free, fair, and credible. And they're not lightweights, those guys. They are your professors, and I don't want to talk about our battles, but they are real people of high integrity. And this achievement is attributable to the unwavering commitment demonstrated by the examination officials at the DBE and across provinces. So in December, the 23rd of December this year, Umalusi convened a standardization meeting during which, out of the 59 subjects subjected, they accepted 38 raw scores, pulled down 16. Can you imagine what it would have done if they didn't take 16 down? And only took up, and amongst the ones they pulled down was maths, and only 5 were taken up. Now the results, that's what you want. Now it brings me to the 2013 results. The results said, in 2009, when I took over, we had 60.6. Last year, we had 73.9. And this year, in 2013, we stand at 78.2. Can you imagine if Malus didn't take in 16 down? But that's fine. And this is an increase of 4.3% on the 2012 results. And it is an increase of 16.6% since 2009. In 1995, when this cohort of learners entered grade 1, the national pass average was 53.4. And 19 years down the line, we stand at 78.2. If you recall, when we came into office with the deputy minister, we targeted 75% by 2014. Now we're at 78.2% a year ahead. As Reverend Jesse Jackson correctly captured how we feel with the deputy minister when we got the results, he said, I quote, "Both tears and sweat are salty, but they render a different result. Tears will get you sympathy, sweat will get you change." I want to say to the class of 2013, well done. I'm also extremely pleased by the fact that all indicators of quality are also part of an upward trend. So when you assess to say there's been improvement or not, what are your indicators? One of the key indicators of bachelor passes. In 2008, we're at 19.9. In 2009, we're 23.5 in terms of bachelors. In 2010, we're 24.3. 2011, 26.6. 2012, we're 26.6. Now we stand at 30.6% of bachelors. Another quality indicator. In 2012, in only 12 subjects that we selected, because we left other subjects, we got more than 55,650 distinctions in 2012. In 2013, in the same subjects, we got 67,855 distinctions. We all know that socioeconomic factors worldwide are a key determinant of education performance for different learners. We're also encouraged to notice that as a sector, we have started to break the backbone of underperformance in rural and township schools. A total of 1,832 schools coming from quintiles 1, 2, and 3, which are these no fee paying schools, have performed above 80%. In terms of the bachelor passes, this quintile gave us more than 78,000 bachelor passes, which is evidence that indeed, even coming from poor communities, there's a demonstration of good performance which will be harnessed in the coming years. The notion that schools from the more elite communities are propping up pass rates is therefore invalid. In the era of what we termed gateway subjects like maths and physical science, the number of passes in maths in 2013 stands at more than 142,000, which is 20,000 more than last year. So the pass rate for maths improved from 54% in 2012 to 59.1% in 2013. For physical science, we moved from 63.1% to 67.4% in 2013. For life sciences, we moved from 69.5% to 73.7%. In accounting, we just had 1.1% increase because last year we stood at 65.6, this year we're at 65.7. In geography, we moved from 75.8 to 80%. In economics, we moved from 72.8 to 73.9. In history, we moved from 86 to 87.1. And as I say, the number of passes in literacy also, mathematical literacy is very high. And a detailed report on performance is also available in our website. In respect of learners qualifying for bachelor's program, in our action plan, as I said, we targeted 175 by 2014. We are now at 174. This year, we have an increase of more than 35,000 learners who have qualified in bachelor's in 2013. And I hope Deputy Minister Duduze and your minister are ready for this inflow. On provincial departments, and I must say to my colleagues, they've worked tirelessly, persistently, hard from the beginning of 2013. Their key interventions have focused on improving performance in key gateway subjects and supporting underperforming schools and their principals. It's because there's also no time. We could also show you trends of schools that moved also out of non-performing areas into performance areas. But let me just quickly run through the provincial passes. And not in any order in terms of just alphabetic order or ascending order. The Eastern Cape moved from 61.4% to 64.9%, had an increment of 3.5. Limpopo moved from 66.9% in 2012 to 71.8% in 2013, which is an increase of 4.9%. But I also think that we have to congratulate Limpopo. Limpopo stood at 48.9% in 2009. It's now at 71.8% in 2013. In the past 4 years, they've increased with almost 22.9%. The Northern Cape, 75.5, they are down. 74.5 2012, this year at 74.6, so the other way around. 74.6 in 2012, they had a decrease of 0.1% to 74.5. KwaZulu-Natal, which is it's our biggest part of the system, has 25% of our learners. KZN improved from 73.1% in 2012 to 77.4% in 2013. which is also an increase of 4.3%. Mpumalanga, which stood at 70% in 2012, stands at 77.6%. And I think Mpumalanga also needs to be congratulated, because in 2009, Mpumalanga stood at 47.9%. So in 4 years, they've improved with 29.7% to reach this 77.6%. The Western Cape stood at 82.8% in 2012. It improved with 2.3%. It now stands at 85.1%. Gauteng last year was at 83.9%. It also had an improvement of 3.1%. It stands at 87%. Northwest achieved, from last year they were at 79.5%. This year they stand at 87.2%. Representing the highest improvement for the 2013 matric. And the top performing province, that's why MC Tate is a Free State. The Free State achieved 87.4%, up from 81.1%. They also had an improvement of 6.3%. So I really wish to congratulate MEC Tate. Maybe we should stand. Let's all just thank you, MEC Tate. On district performance, as DM has said, that it's one of our key intervention areas that we've had. Of the 81 districts, 74 performed at more than 60%. But I think what is notable, that for all the years, we've always had districts that perform under 50%, and this year there's no district that performed under 50%. The 7 districts that performed between 50 and 59 only come from the Eastern Cape. The provinces of Gauteng, Western Cape, Free State, and Northwest, there's no district that performed below 80%. And we want to congratulate the following districts, top districts. The leading district national is Sidibeng East District in Gauteng. At 90.7%. Then we have Port Elizabeth in the Eastern Cape at 74%. We have Thabo Mafutsanyane in the Free State at 88.4%. You have Umlazi, and I'm sure there's no Model C school there, at 83.7%. It's a leading district in KZN. Vembe, I'm sure I can count Model C schools. They won't even fill my hand. They're at 80.6% in Limpopo. Ehlanzeni district, they're at 82.8%. Ngakamulema Mudiri district, even here from the name, there are few Model C schools. They stand at 90.5%. Namakwa, also at 90%, and Overbeck in the Western Cape at 89.4%. And we can confirm that the bulk of these learners don't come from all our sectors throughout the system. Because, for instance, contrary to what some would like the nation and the public to believe, that our results hide inequalities, the fact and evidence show that the 2 top provinces, Free State and Western Cape, are rural and poor provinces. And similarly, over the years, learners from rural areas across the country and historical poor and disadvantaged communities continue to feature strongly in our list of top learners, year in and year out. So the truth in terms of learning outcomes in the sector, in education, is what the president, our former president, says, that education can be an equalizer. It is also encouraging to know that the total of 3,720 schools scored pass rates of over 80%. The principal of Denron said he has not seen his results. It's there. I also looked. It's in the top, in the 3,270 schools, which has doubled. Because in 2009, only 1,586 schools performed above 80%. So even the number of schools that are improving performing at the high level has doubled in the past 5 years. The message of class of 2013, we spoke in the morning, but I'll repeat myself again. You don't mind. I want to congratulate you again for being the best class since the advent of democracy. And we want to encourage all of you to go further and strive for excellence in higher education, in the workplace if you intend to go there, and in your general contribution as South African citizens. Last year I told the class of 2012 that the world is an oyster, and I want to repeat this to you. Indeed, the world is your oyster. Go out there and make the best of this acquired qualification. Again, I wish to thank the parents, the teachers, the principals, the teacher unions, communities, district and provincial officials for supporting the class of 2013. To those of you who have not done well, do not lose heart. There are various options that are available to you. 12 years is a lot. It's a long time to have invested just to let go like this. Last year, learners who did supplementary exams, almost 14,000 of them presented themselves, and they increased our pass rate from 73% to 75%. So again, those who have not made it should quickly go and look at their results and make sure that they register. So we registered, for instance, this year, more than 131 part-time learners. Again, a number of them has made it also. So the NSC results of the class of 2013 is a record performance, the highest compared to any administration in the Republic of South Africa. And these are indeed historical in a host of perspective and constitute a major milestone in the current administration and our democratic dispensation. The combination of increased participation, increased number of passes, improvement in terms of quality represents an all-round improvement in performance. And the trends in the increased performance have been confirmed by most studies. The results of 2013, which stands at 78.2%, continues the upward trend which is sending a strong message that as basic education under the new administration, we have indeed the capacity to improve the quality of education of our children. Although a lot of work still needs to be done, there is overwhelming evidence that we are improving learning outcomes. The results clearly show that systems continue to do, and there's definitely no looking back. The key question remains, though. Commentators, Professor, I'm referring this to so that I make the work easier for commentators. Why have we improved performance so well over the past 4 or 5 years? In other words, what are the factors that contributed to this performance, and what are the lessons learned? And the following can account for the healthy upward trend of learning outcomes in the center. There's been greater stability in the curriculum implementation, which has afforded our teachers, learners, and officials more time to familiarize themselves with the objectives of the curriculum. We had also developed a national strategy for learner attainment for grade R to 12, which has 104 activities delineating responsibilities at national, provincial, district to school level, consistent with the philosophy of change theory adopted by the current administration of making the classroom the centerpiece of everything we do in the sector. The resourcing and the funding of the sector has also improved. In 2009, we were receiving 127 billion, but in 2013, the state gave us 173 billion for education. And the DM has also referred to our pro-poor package, which has also supported our kids from poor communities. The mantra of the current administration also has been teachers, text, and time. And the president, in every state of address, has been repeating this mantra to say all of us as a sector have to focus on teachers, text, and time. And throughout the system, we have monitored the work that we are doing in classes to ensure that teachers are at school on time and teaching, and have developed a number of interventions, also in partnership with our teacher unions, to support pedagogical experiences, but also performance in the classroom. The overwhelming majority of our teachers responded positively to these interventions. The sector has also maintained a very strong partnership with civil society. The establishment of the National Education Collaboration Trust has strengthened the partnership with civil society and galvanized stakeholders to unite in carrying out the objectives of providing quality education. The trust that was established in July by the Deputy President has already started delivering on ensuring basic functionality in the system. And it is within this context that I would like to congratulate Mr. Godwin Khosa on his appointment as the CEO of the National Education Collaboration Trust, as well as the leadership of the board chairperson, Mr. Sizwe Nxasana. And my gratitude also goes to all teacher unions, business leaders, and formations that outcomes a tonal collaboration framework, parent and student bodies. Already from reports of the work done by the trust, the future of our children is very bright and there is hope for even greater things. Furthermore, with utmost gratitude and appreciation, as a department, we really want to appreciate our partnership of the Vets Equality Scholarship with Vets University under the leadership of Professor Habib. This is a scholarship which has been developed to enable talented learners from disadvantaged communities to access the quality of higher education. The Equality Scholarship, as I said, which has been developed by the university under the leadership of Professor Habib, it will be awarding to top 10 performing students from quintiles 1 and 2, which is our poorest communities, as identified, will identify the learners with them, and vets will be giving school fellowships, scholarships worth 100,000 each per learner annually. And through this scholarship, vets will support students for the duration of their undergraduate study at vets, provided that they excel. So if anything goes wrong or you go to the left, then you should know the scholarship goes. And these scholarships aim to create hope in our society, in the words of Professor Habib, and in doing so, create a meaningful transformation and change in South Africa. And the first recipient of the Vets Vice-Chancellor Equality Scholarship will be announced soon at an event that we will host jointly with the university. And again, thank you very much, Professor, for honoring us with these scholarships. This is one example of how government, in partnering with higher education and other stakeholders to improve the lives of future generations, we in turn will help us to tackle the challenges of the 21st century. The Vets Equality Scholarship are indeed one of the stepping stones that will help transform the lives of our talented learners, whom we hope will become active citizens in a vibrant democracy. We also take note of Mandla Masekwa, is here with us, the winner of which is going to see him blast off into space in 2015. And I'm saying to him, represent us well, young men, and continue to inspire other young people. So, Puman, there he is. On the other hand, within government itself, to ensure support for government's first priority, a number of departments have entered into partnerships with us, and I'll mention a few. Sports and recreation in schools, correctional services are rehabilitating our schools, and also producing furniture for us so pensioners, not pensioners, taxpayers can take, I think, consolation that at least our prisoners are doing something in return for our communities. They are helping us to rehabilitate schools and build desks for us. The Department of Labor is doing desks, but Department of Police for school safety, defense is going to be building bridges for our learners to help us, especially in areas where there are these big rivers that our kids are forced to cross during rainy seasons. And the Department of Labor is busy constructing bridges to make sure that indeed we can sort that one out. We have agreements with Home Affairs, and we're signing more agreements with other departments like Department of Transport for scholar transport. I really want to take this opportunity to thank the President and the Cabinet for their support, and in particular for recognizing the strategic importance of education for the country's future. Way forward for 2014. The sector needs to urgently reduce repetition and dropout rates, because that's one of our problem. We need to take practical steps to address inclusivity and excellence. Consistent with strengthening curriculum implementation and providing quality education, the sector needs to continue the support and monitoring of CAPS implementation. In addressing inclusivity and access, the implementation of CAPS for technical high schools, South African Sign Language, and the incremental introduction of African languages will be implemented in 2014, but the technical one and the sign languages are going to be implemented from 2015, but we'll be using 2014 to prepare both teachers and also our resources. And again, dealing with the participation and success rate in maths in all grades, and in particular the senior phase and further education phase, we are going to be implementing the findings and recommendations of the Maths and Science Task Team, which I established this year. We have already established the MST office as recommended by them, and will be recommending their recommendations. We'll also be focusing on improving and strengthening literacy, library and information services, and also implement the findings of the Ministerial Task Team on the audit of reading programs that was done in 2012, and also the findings of need of 2012. Now to the class of 2014. I've brought with me my niece and her two friends. Where are they? They're going to be doing grade 12 this year. So to you and your other friends, this is a message for you. As a tribute to our great leader, Nelson Mandela, the class of 2014 and subsequent generations of young people should strive to preserve the quality of education, the flourishing of democracy and governance, enhancement of peace, reconciliation and justice for all, and the demonstration of humanity, empathy and Ubuntu. To quote Mandela, when he said, "I don't expect you to be like me, I expect you to be more than me." So for the class of 2014, we expect them to be even more better, to be much better than the class of 2013. The target has been set by the class, so we are representing your cohorts, those three girls and other matriculants who are listening. The target has been set by the 2014 class. They didn't disappoint me. I asked them last year to outperform the class of 2012. They've done it. So the class of 2014 has to outperform the class of 2013. But in closing, Program Director, I'd like to acknowledge the support and contribution of parents, right? Guardians of Mamam Giba here, and teachers who actually carry the most responsibility in the education chain, and all education officials. I want also to thank teacher unions. I want to commend them for their support and partnership, and must say to them, I look forward to 201 uninterrupted school days in 2014. I can't see where they are. At most, after our fight, if we can have not even the rule to work, right? Just 201. But I think 201 uninterrupted days, it can't be too much to ask again. So that's what we're asking from them. But the business sector also for their support. I mean, Business South Africa has been extremely generous with us and supportive as a department. Both professionally, they've been supporting us both professionally and materially. We thank the international donor community, the EU, USAID, the Scandinavian countries, Japan, Asiatic countries, Cuba, for all their contributions and for making our children their business. So our appreciation to all the people in general and organizations who support education in one way or the other. But I'd also like to thank my colleagues, the MECs, HODs, provincial and district officials for their efforts. I thank you very much, my colleagues. I also want to thank Deputy Minister for his support and contribution at all times. The Deputy Minister is one of the most dedicated and refined individuals that I've had the privilege to work with. It has been one of the greatest blessings in my life to serve with a man of his integrity, a workhorse that gives his best at all times, and who puts the interests of others and, more important, of our children first. So, DM, thank you very much for who you are and all that you do for our department. And I also want to thank the Portfolio Committee under the leadership of Mayor Hope Malgas. Thank you very much for all the support, the guidance. Wish to thank also the study and for ongoing support. Also thank the chairperson of the NCOP Select Committee, Wendy Makate, but I also see other members of different parties Tatumpunsan from different parties who are here. Thank you very much for the support and guidance all the time. And I think it's in sadness that we have to acknowledge the contribution of the late member of the Portfolio Committee, Babu Crosby Moni, who was laid to rest in the past Saturday on the 4th of January. And as the department, we say, may his soul rest in peace. To our Acting Director General, Mr. Pedi Padiache, and his examinations team, thank you for your patriotism, your hard work, and your dedication. Once more, I want to thank you for a job well done. There's nothing as stressful as an exam period, because one leak can discredit the entire system. And I must thank Pumalanga for being the good girl it has been. It's really been the best system and best performance, because it really gives us lots of heart palpitations. But also want to thank my family in absentia, they're represented by the 3 matriculants. So I'll thank them in absentia that have supported me. My children and my mother for their continued support and the strength that they give me to remain focused and in our endeavor to achieve a better life for our children in our country. But a special thank also goes to Minister Naledi Pandor, ANC Policy Head of Education, also for her support and guidance. In conclusion, all South Africans should be encouraged that the education and the future of their children is in good, hard-working hands of our officials, our provinces and our districts. And I wish to conclude with the words of Nelson Mandela, that a bright future beckons us, the onus is on us, through hard work, honesty and integrity, to reach for the stars. I thank you.
The 2013 NSC performance does not come as a surprise. Instead, it is evidence that our interventions are continuing to yield good results. There has been greater stability in the sector in curriculum implementation. This has afforded teachers, learners, and officials more time to familiarize themselves with the objectives of the curriculum. The department has also implemented an intensive support and monitoring program to the underperforming districts, especially in rural areas. Many responded positively to this intervention and progressively improved learning outcomes. Throughout the system, the sector is monitored to ensure that teachers are at school on time teaching. As a result, learners from rural areas across the country and historically poor and disadvantaged communities continue to feature strongly on our list of top learners year in and out. The truth is, in terms of learning outcomes in the sector, education remains to be an equalizer between poor and rich. This is an indication that real teaching and learning have taken place and that our interventions have started to bear fruit.
South Africa has an increasing shortage of teachers. Around 10,100 teachers employed in the public service leave the education system annually. Only about 6,000 students graduate from higher education institutions, and of these, only about 5,000 join the public service as teachers each year. This leaves a gap of about 5,000 educators every year. Government has responded to this problem by establishing the Funza Lushaka bursary scheme. This is a full-cost bursary available to enable eligible students to complete a full teaching qualification in an area of national priority. Recipients of these bursaries will be required to teach at a public school for the same number of years that they received the bursary. If you want to study teaching, please visit www.education.gov.za for more information.
If is a part of life. Little ifs and big ones. Like what will happen to your family if you passed away. With Outsurance Essential Life, you can protect your loved ones from life's ifs. No medicals required, and we'll pay 10% of your cover within 2 days for funerals. And if you're still a client in 15 years, you'll get all your premiums back. A life cover that's there if you need it and gives you money back if you don't. SMS Life to 44506. Outsurance, you always get something out.
Growing up, my parents couldn't spend money on me. No new clothes, no fancy presents. Yet, when I have children, I'll make the same choices for them. To shine in the future, make the right choices today.
Kiwi, the right choice in shoe polish, made with Kanuba wax.
Oh, cheese boy. As you've seen, think of something quick and filling for me and my pepes. Give me the sweet chili chicken real deal pizza, and for my girl, the bacon and chicken.
Scott even harder with the new real deal pizzas for only $19.90 each. Debonair's Pizza. Everybody tag in.
Back for a price is gonna hike. Beat the traffic with a bike. The renovations make you cry. Learn to do some DIY. When shopping, stick to no-name brands. You will save a lot of rent. Oh, oh, oh. Get budgets or no premiums. Oh, oh, oh. Nothing rhymes with premium.
There are a lot of ways to meet the budget. SMS budget to 40321 and get low premiums on your car, home, business, and life insurance. Budget insurance, the easy way to save.
9.2 million learners receive a hot meal every day in the school nutrition program. The Department of Basic Education has made inroads in implementing the school nutrition program around the country. The nutrition program alleviates hunger and also provides an incentive for children to attend school regularly, as well as enhance their learning capacity. The meals include fresh fruit and vegetables served daily in line with approved menu options. Since 2004, the program has seen an increased budget from 832 million to 5 billion rand in 2013, reaching over 9 million beneficiaries, up from 4 million in 2004. In recent years, the department has changed its procurement process so it is managed directly at school level. This has resulted in better quality meals and accountability, as well as growing local businesses. The National School Nutrition Program is a flagship program for government, as it also promotes knowledge on healthy eating and a healthy lifestyle.
We would like to thank all our sponsors for this amazing event: SABC, Telkom Foundation, Vodacom, South African Post Office, MTN, Wits University, and the Ministerial Educational Foundation for giving each and every single one of these learners the Leadership 2020 book. Now, ladies and gentlemen, last year I had the pleasure of hosting this event, and I must say I did get the bragging rights because Limpopo did amazing. They usually say history does not repeat itself, but I have a feeling it might just repeat itself. The first category of the evening is the top mathematics learners.
Top mathematics learners. In third place, Lwazi Shezi, Velabahlege High School, KwaZulu-Natal. In second place, Kamogelo Sekwaila, Motse Maria Secondary, Limpopo. In first place, Winnie Louise Myberg, Afrikaanse Hoër Macy School, Gauteng.
She will be walking away with an MTN laptop, travel bag, and backpacks with a BlackBerry cell phone. The next category is the top learners in Quintile 1. Now, Quintile 1 is the most disadvantaged schools in the country.
top learners in quintile 1. In third place, Sipesihle Sithole, Makosini Combined Secondary School, Gauteng. In second place, Hlogonofatsho Matsapola Dendron Secondary School, Limpopo. In first place, Kabelo Ngwepe Dendron Secondary School, Limpopo.
And she wins the South African Post Office bursary to the value of 100,000 rands. The next category is the top physical science learners.
Top physical science learners. In joint third place, Sanele Mdlalose, Dr. J.L. Dube High School, KwaZulu-Natal, and Andani Siave Mbilwi Secondary School, Limpopo. In second place, Sibusiso Khoza, Sidlamafa Secondary School, Mpumalanga. In first place, Wilson Shubuzani, Teto Secondary School, Free State.
And he walks away with an MTN laptop, backpack, and a BlackBerry cell phone. The next category is for the top learners with special educational needs.
Top LSEN learners. In third place, Tabang Manamela, Prince of School for the Blind, Gauteng. In second place, Daniel Andrews, Dominican Grimley, Western Cape. In first place, Karen van Wyk, Pioneer School, Western Cape.
Well, unfortunately, that's all we had for you from the special broadcast of the matric results right here on SABC 1 Mzansi for sure. We do continue, though, on Channel 4 on DSTV. From myself, Alicia Jali, the crew and team, have yourself a lovely evening.
Is this all I get? This is what you paid for?
I didn't know I was paying for a small one.
Never asked. Leg up.
Check that you're not underinsured. SMS Trust to 45179 for insurance you can trust.
Need a loan of up to 10,000 Rand? Take only your South African ID to PEP. Apply for a Capfin loan, and you'll have an answer by SMS within 15 minutes. Capfin. Fast, easy.
Convicted of murder. Who should take the burden of terminating a life?
It's very problematic for doctors to play God.
That's Rights and Recourse, Sundays 2 p.m. on SABC News.
Goeienaand en baie welkom by die nuus in Afrikaans hier op die SAK se 24 uur nuusdiens.
En goeienaand ook van my. In die volgende halfuur berig ons oor die verslegtende toestand in Suid-Sudan wat 'n nadelige invloed op die olieprys kan hê. En nog 'n Duitser, die keer die kanselier Angela Merkel, word die slagoffer van 'n ski-ongeluk.
En later het ons die jongste nuus oor die Amerikaanse PGA-reeks se toernooi van kampioene in Hawaii en die moordende Dakar tydren waar die meeste Suid-Afrikaanse deelnemers maar erg sukkel. Maar soos gewoonlik begin ons met 'n kort opsomming van ander nuus van die dag.
4 polisielede het in die Ekangala Landdroshof in Mpumalanga verskyn in verband met die dood op Kersdag van 'n 40-jarige man, Boy Mashlangu. Die 4 beskuldigdes, 2 mans en 2 vroue, is van moord aangekla. Hulle saak is uitgestel om 'n neutrale landdros te identifiseer wat die saak sal lei. Gemeenskapslede vra dat geregtigheid geskied. Intussen sê die polisie se onafhanklike ondersoekdirektoraat dat hy nog die saak ondersoek.
Die staat gaan 2 verkrachtingsaanklagte heropen teen 2 minderjariges wat daarvan beskuldig word dat hulle 'n 3-jarige meisie van...
The next category is for top learners in quintile 4.
Top learners in quintile 4. In 3rd place, Ahmed Yaqub, Zinniaville Secondary School, Northwest. In 2nd place, Anna Marie Roux, Potchefstroom Gymnasium, Northwest. In 1st place, Lwazi Shezi, Vela Bashege High School, KwaZulu Natal.
Congratulations. He wins a Vodacom tablet with connectivity, a BlackBerry cell phone, and a DJ Smooth Leadership 2020 book. Congratulations. And now, for our last but not least, this award goes for top learners in quintile 5.
Top learners in quintile 5. In joint 3rd place, Yusuf Mohammed, Maritzburg College, KwaZulu Natal, and Priyanka Ramgulam, Pietermaritzburg Girls High School, KwaZulu Natal. In 2nd place, Selena Naika, Verulam Secondary School, KwaZulu Natal. In 1st place, Asil Motala, Westville Boys High School, KwaZulu Natal.
Congratulations. He wins a Vodacom tablet with connectivity, a BlackBerry cell phone, and a DJ Smooth Leadership 2020 book. And thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us tonight. To close things off, I'd like to give the minister, the deputy, and the acting all a copy of the DJ Smooth book.
A special thank you to the parents and to the teachers for your continued commitment and support in ensuring that our young learners excel in their academics. Good night, Releboga, Loroba Lengabotsi.
Yafundo, yafundo, yafundo.
Will you please be seated? I promise you I won't keep you long. Please be seated. This is the last item. It's really my task to say, give the vote of thanks. Firstly, to the chairperson and to the CEO of the South African Broadcasting Corporation, SABC. Thank you very much for making this possible, to transmit this live, for the venue that you provided to us. We really indeed are grateful for that. To the South African Post Office that made it possible for us to have breakfast with these wonderful gifted learners. Thank you very much for that, as well as the other work that you've been doing. To Wits University for their sponsorship. Professor Habib, I think, might have just left a short while ago. To my colleague, Aaron Ransberg, who works with me in the collaboration agreement. He's not here, but from the University of Johannesburg. Thank you for the support to the department in terms of the dialogue on education stations. I think you've been wonderful partners in terms of education. Kindly convey our best wishes and thanks and gratitude to your members. To the SGB Association, thank you very much for your help, and to all SGBs in all schools that drive the program of schools. We really want to acknowledge your role. To our political partners, the MECs for education, not only from the Free State and Gauteng, but all provinces, I think they've been wonderful support. To my colleague, the Deputy Minister of Higher Education and Training, for the collaboration that we have with Higher Education and Training. You might not know it, but we have 13,000 beneficiaries of our Funza Lushaka scheme, bursary funds. It means the full bursary for those learners, and all they got to do is teach for the number of years, and they get paid during that time. So it's 13,000 beneficiaries for 2013 alone, and growing from year to year. To the provincial HODs, I see Mr. Sishi here, and I see, well, obviously Free State has to be here, but thank you very much for that. To NIDU, the representatives, and to Professor Folman, who is here, for his previous role and in education in different capacities, in terms of NIDU, in terms of Umalusi, etc. To the chairperson of Umalusi as well as its CEO, thank you very much for the extraordinary task that you're doing, for your honesty and your frankness. And we can't say thank you for driving down the marks, but I think an assessment is in order. To the parents of our learners of the nation, thank you very much, because it's your task to provide support, motivation, inspiration to those learners. I think it's really an extraordinary task that you perform. To the school educators and the principals and the senior managers of school, you've been done wonderfully well. To your circuit managers, your subject advisors, your provincial department officials, your national department officials, you've been extraordinary. I would like our senior management for the Department of Education, really, who have worked extremely hard, to just stand up quickly so that we can acknowledge you. You are present out here. Please, I think you deserve that, and to give you a round of applause. Yes, all of you. The examination team that has been responsible for the management, both nationally as well as provincially, of this enormous task needs a great hand. Those that are responsible for the annual national assessments, which involves more than 7.2 million, they are able to moderate, receive, collate, analyze, interpret, and publish the results within 120 days. An extraordinary feat, and it's all done because of the extra effort that they put in there. To all stakeholders who are present out here, I see my friend Professor McKay, who's perhaps the guardian and custodian of the workbooks, which has made a difference to the lives of our people. Thank you very much to you and your team for the wonderful work that they've done. To my friend Mr. Koza from Urban, thank you very much for your support. And then, I want to say thank you to three people. In the early part of December, we lost our icon, our national icon, our hero, whose vision, whose inspiration, whose motivation has driven us in the correct path, and that's Nelson Mandela. Shortly after that, just within a week, after having seen the entire proceedings, I had the sad experience of losing my mother. She taught me my alphabet when I was 4. I could count before going to school. I started school at 5, and I think to a great extent she was my motivator. But more importantly, as Nelson Mandela inspired me, she inspired me to serve, and I will continue doing so because of the inspiration that I've received. So she has taken leave of us. And a week thereafter, we had our friend Moni Crosby, who has been a freedom fighter and made a huge contribution to education. 3 great people who have inspired me, and we would like to say thank you to them. To the acting DG for the wonderful work that he's done in providing leadership. To the Director General, Bobby Subrayan, for his work and his efforts in putting together a system and managing it for so long. I think all stakeholders in education deserve a round of applause. For those whom I have not mentioned, whom I might have omitted, my apologies. But, these men and women, I see them well. I see Palesa, I see Temba, I see people all. Thank you very, very much. You've been a great inspiration. And my last thank you goes to my minister. To my minister. Pardon? Yes. My minister for her able and competent leadership. She's been both my political principal and my partner, and I think we've had an extraordinary relationship, Minister. You've been incredible. To the communications team, and they are there. There they are, the communication teams that have put this together. Please come through. We want to say hello. All of you, please. Yes. I call him the Prophet Elijah. He always brings the good news. Thank you very much. Thank you. Where's Panyaza? He's shy. He's busy with an interview. But I think they are quite an extraordinary group of people that make events happen. Please, Panyaza. It's a nail. Okay. But anyway, they are acknowledged. And to the audience, you've been extraordinary. You've been wonderful. This event, boys and girls, is about you and the cohort of learners. It is for you. It is about you. We say this wouldn't have occurred. We wouldn't have been as successful without your input. So when I speak to you and the thousands of other learners who have made this wonderful, extraordinary effort. Congratulations. Well done. Thank you. You've been brilliant. Thank you. You are now released.
Sorry. DM normally has the last voice, but I think today I'll have the last voice. If I can just ask that the sponsors, representatives, join the Minister and the Deputy Minister and the DG on the stage. We just want to have a group photo with some of the learners. And then I'm going to ask, we have a beautiful lady, and she's standing in the front here with a pink shirt. If I can ask the sponsors, the reps that are not staying behind with the Minister and the Deputy Minister, the Portfolio Committee, the Ministers and the MECs that are here, please follow her. And she will take care of you. Parents, I'm sure you want to see your kids. Please, if you want to stay behind as well, we're just going to keep them for a couple of seconds as I briefed you yesterday so that we can do media interviews. The rest of the guests, thank you very, very much for joining us. Have a fabulous 2014. Thank you.
Inclusive education is one of the priorities of the Department of Basic Education. Inclusive education is about ensuring that barriers to learning are addressed in such a way that all learners can reach their full potential. The Department of Basic Education declared 2013 as the Year of Inclusive Education. This is so all stakeholders in education take the responsibility for ensuring that learners with special needs have access to quality education and support. These are children from rural communities, from poor families, learners who come from different cultures, who learn differently, those with emotional or physical challenges. 2013 saw the completion of the curriculum for South African Sign Language. Workbooks have been adapted for Braille, so learners with visual impairment can participate in lessons together with their peers. We have allocated more resources to special schools so they can provide better quality education and support. In 2014, teachers will be trained to ensure that they have the knowledge and skills to meet the needs of diverse learners in their day-to-day teaching.
South African Schools Coral Eisteddfod, SASKE, is an annual competition that takes place in July. This exciting competition attracts thousands of hopeful young learners across the country to compete against the cream of the crop. Learners compete for the top honors by engaging in moving solo and group performances over a period of 4 days. At the event, participants come from far and wide to compete against the future of South Africa's cultural talent. Minister Motshekga hails the SASKE project as it resonates with the government's vision to improve the quality of life for all citizens, and that it is a strategic program in our quest to promote unity in diversity, reconciliation, and social cohesion.